Welcome everyone and good morning. I would like to invite or welcome you into our webinar organized by Nordic Innovators Group, focusing on deep tech funding opportunities for SMEs in 2026. I would love to introduce you to our two experts, Vasco and Rachet, who will take you through the upcoming slides in a few seconds. And just as a practicality, webinar will or the presentation will last for 50 minutes, and the last 10 minutes will be dedicated to question Q&A. If you have any questions in the meantime during the presentation, I would like to invite you to drop them, either record them somewhere on a piece of paper or drop them directly into the chat, and we will go back to them when the presentation is over and the Q&A session can start. I will not make it any longer, so I'm leaving the floor to my colleague Rachet, who will start the presentation. Thank you, Rachet.
Thank you, Katerina, and welcome everyone. Good morning. As presented by Katerina, I'm along with Vasco. We are your presenters and host along with Katerina for today. And next slide, please. Here is our roadmap for today. We will start with project financing fundamentals and strategic evaluation. We then move to Eurostars, and then we explore the EIC Accelerator. And we will finally finish with how Nordic Innovators Group supports clients across the full funding journey. Each section builds on the previous, from idea to execution to scale up. In the next slide, we will take a look at the different sources of project financing. Next, please. Let's start with the basics. Funding for innovation comes in many forms: equity, debt, and grants. And each has trade-offs. Equity brings dilution, debt brings repayment obligations, and grants often bring administrative requirements, but no dilution. The EU grants, such as Accelerator or Eurostars, sits right at the intersection, where they combine risk-free grant capital with optional equity, such as through the EIC funds. And the real art is in combining these instruments to reduce risk and stretch each euro of your R&D investment. Next, please. Before you apply for any EU program, ask yourself these 5 questions. Is this the right timing for my company? Do I have the resources and time, which is often 6 months, to prepare a strong application? What are my realistic chances based on fit with the program and success rates of that program? What is the funding rate versus own investment? And finally, what are the risks and rewards? Public funding isn't just cash, it's validation. Investors interpret an EU grant as a signal of technological credibility. And for early stage companies, credibility is often the strongest currency that you have. Next, please. Now we will take a look at what is deep tech. We all have been hearing about deep tech companies. The EU wants to fund deep tech. EU wants to fund the deep tech projects. What is actually deep tech? Deep tech refers to science and engineering driven innovation at the very frontier of knowledge. Deep tech is not just AI or software, but deep tech is breakthrough technologies built on substantial R&D. These are high risk, high impact innovations with the power to transform industries and society. You think of quantum computing, advanced materials, robotics, clean technologies, biotechnology, manufacturing. These are the strategic areas where Europe aims to lead globally. And that's why deep tech sits at the core of the EU's innovation agenda. What are the typical traits of a deep tech company? Number one, it contains very high technical risk, but very high impact. Deep tech ventures tackle major scientific and engineering uncertainties. And the risks are significant, but so is the potential to revolutionize sectors such as we just described above, healthcare, energy, advanced manufacturing, and so on and so forth. Exactly, these are the kind of challenges that European Innovation Council was created to support, and along with the Eureka network, which are supporting Eurostars and EIC Accelerator respectively. Number two, long development cycles. Unlike fast-moving digital products, deep tech innovations require years of sustained investment and a clear TRL roadmap. That is, from early research and prototypes to industrial validation and full commercialization. Trait number three, deep tech comes with very strong intellectual property. A solid IP strategy is essential in the case of a deep tech company. And the IP can be secured through patents, trade secrets, proprietary algorithms, and these are the tools which can create a defensible competitive advantage for you. Number four, science-based multidisciplinary innovation. Deep tech often combines hardware, advanced software, and scientific disciplines such as physics, biology, engineering. And that's how they are called as deep tech. Point number five, it's not basically the characteristic of a deep tech company, but what I wanted to highlight here is that why the deep techs are of strategic importance for Europe. For the EU, deep tech underpins technological sovereignty, sustainability, and global competitiveness. Through programs such as EIC or Eureka, the Union actively invests in these breakthrough innovations to secure Europe's industrial future and address grand challenges like climate change and digital transformation. So in short, deep tech isn't just about inventing new technology, it's about building Europe's long-term scientific and industrial leadership. Next, please. In this slide, I have just tried to summarize what can be the different domains of deep tech companies. Deep techs can be from quantum computing, advanced materials, nanotechnology, semiconductors, robotics, autonomous systems, digital physical integrations, clean tech, biotech and synthetic biology, digital health and AI-enabled medicine, medical devices and bioelectronics. The list is not, this is not limited to only these 8 examples, but these are the core examples or mostly occurring examples in the deep tech domain applying for EU fundings. Next, please. Financial viability check. Financial viability check is an important topic and one that sometimes makes founders nervous, but it really should not. The financial viability check is not meant to exclude innovators. It is simply there to confirm that public funds go to organizations capable of managing them responsibly. So after you win a grant, the financial viability check is performed by the European Commission on your company, on your accounts, just to make sure that if you get the money, if you get this grant, you can use it responsibly. And here, the Commission checks basic indicators like profitability, liquidity, and solvency. And crucially, that the company meets the EU's definition of not in financial difficulties. Most EU grants are reimbursement-based. That means you spend first and get reimbursed later. So evaluators need confidence that your company can maintain operations in between. That's one of the reasons financial viability check is performed. A sound financial base isn't just a compliance box. It is a credibility signal. Investors and evaluators both see it as evidence of good governance and maturity. For applicants who might be pre-revenue or newly established, there are ways to demonstrate stability through audited statements, investor commitments, and even bank guarantees. So the goal is simple: reassurance that your company is viable. And if your company is viable and transparent, the step will simply confirm that you are ready to handle EU funding responsibly. Next, please. So here we have tried to present a TRL roadmap, starting from TRL1, where the basic principles observed, and going all the way where the actual system is proven in the operational environment. The first three TRLs are considered as research, TRL 4 to 6 are development, TRL 7 to 9 are deployment. And every deep tech journey follows this TRL path. And understanding where you stand on this scale is essential for matching the right program. For an example, our focus of today, Eurostars, one of the focus of today, Eurostars, sits between TRL 4 to 6, or sometimes TRL 4 to 7. EIC Accelerator sits at TRL 6 to 8 or 6 to 9, if you're asking for the equity. And finally, TRL 9 means that you are ready for private or EIB growth capital. Or also another call, which I'm going to show you in the next slide. Next slide, please. Here we are looking at strategic funding architecture, how we advise companies to go from Eurostars, that is TRL 4, and all the way to TRL 9. EU programs fund deep tech growth from idea to scale up, and ensuring continuity, impact, and investor confidence. Number one, on this architecture, sitting at the bottom, it's Horizon grants or Eurostars, which support early stage R&D and prototype development. Here you can get €500,000 to €3 million in funding. Then Eureka Fast Track or plug-in schemes are in place, which can take you up. For this, you need to understand a little bit the EIC Accelerator. EIC Accelerator is a two-stage process. Stage 1, which is a short application. Stage 2, which is the full application. Once you pass the stage 1, you go to the stage 2, then you are eligible for applying or submitting your full application. But there are certain schemes in place, such as Eureka Fast Track, Eureka, which administers Eurostars, has also another scheme called as Eureka Fast Track. And if you get approved in Eureka Fast Track, provided you have a Eurostars grant already running, you can directly apply to the EIC Accelerator Stage 2. And there are plug-in schemes administered by national funding bodies. For an example, here in Denmark, if you are an InnoBooster awardee, you can go to the EIC Accelerator Stage 2 directly without needing to go through the Stage 1. So these are the kind of schemes which have been recently introduced, and they allow you to skip Stage 1 of the EIC Accelerator process. And then we are looking at the EIC Accelerator. EIC Accelerator sits between TRL 6 to 8 or 9, TRL 6 to 8 for grant activities, TRL 8 to 9 for entering the market activities through equity investment. EIC Accelerator gives €2.5 million grant and up to €10 million in equity. That's a typo. It's what 15 million earlier, but now it has been changed to €10 million in equity. And then we move to EIC Scale Up. EIC Scale Up is a new scheme which has been introduced by European Commission, and it gives you more funding, €10 to 30 million for the growth stage financing, and it takes you from TRL 8 to TRL 9. Next slide, please. Now I will hand over the floor to my colleague Vasco. Vasco will walk you through the Eurostars, and then the baton will come back to me for the EIC Accelerator. Over to you, Vasco.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rajat, for this insightful presentation of the EIC Accelerator, of the project financing fundamentals. That was a great introduction, and I'll be happy to go right on with giving you a bit more detailed insight into one of my personally favorite funding instruments, the Eureka Eurostars. Like said earlier, please write any questions that you might have in the chat. We will answer them at the Q&A session at the end. So what is Eurostars? This is a funding program that is sitting under the roof of the organization called Eureka, and it has been around for a very long time. It's quite successful, and it's one of the key instruments for funding innovation when you have a technology open idea. What is this exactly? So one of the key elements of Eurostars is that it likes to fund cross-border activities. So you will need to apply as a consortium. You cannot apply on your own alone. You need to have at least 2 partners. One could be you and another partner from another country. So this is one of the key ideas behind Eurostars. The application process is very straightforward. It's a single step written application, no need for rehearsal, no need for presentation. You apply once, and then it's followed by a multi-step evaluation. Every aspect, every important aspect of your application is being reviewed and evaluated in steps, and you will get feedback along the way how your application is making it. It's very interesting to know when the next deadlines are, of course. They have not yet been confirmed as a specific date, but Eurostars typically has 2 deadlines every year, one in spring and one in autumn. We expect the next deadline to be in March 2026. Down to the basics of what you actually can expect from Eurostars if you apply for funding here. This is quite straightforward. You can expect around 500,000 euro per each partner that is participating in the project as a funding. And the funding rate is typically 50%. Why do I say typically? Because one of the specialties of Eurostars funding program is that it is being co-funded by national agencies. And these national agencies have the last word and actually the details of how they set the funding rate and the funding maximum amount. So it can vary slightly from country to country, which makes it quite important to choose wisely if you are searching for a partner from another country to join you in your project, to see how much they can actually apply for. If you are from Denmark, you can apply for 300,000 euros maximum funding, but you will get 75% funding rate as an example. Now we have talked a lot about technology readiness levels. When we say that Eurostars has a technology readiness level in the lower range, it was explained earlier by my colleague Rajat. We have even here some national specialties, and some countries and some participants can actually extend these technology readiness levels they will be working on a little bit. But in general, you can be on the safe side if you say that you have a project that comes in the range of tier 4 to 6. Sometimes 3 is also possible, and sometimes you can even go up to 8. But most of the projects that are being funded in Eurostars are on the project, on the technology readiness level of around 4 to 6. Next slide, please. Yes, so what does Eurostars actually want to fund? You know, each funding agency, each funding body has their own objectives of what they actually want to support. The good thing about Eurostars is when we're talking about technology, we're talking about deep tech today, is that you can apply with any technology that is out there. So it is technology open. The only criteria for selecting funded projects is that it must be innovative. So it cannot be something that has already been applied either in your own company or somewhere else and is a mere repetition of what is already out there. Another strong objective of the Eurostars program is that you should have a clear route to market with your product or the service that you will be developing. So there is a rule that you need to be ready to enter the market less than 2 years after the project end. Also, what they want to see that you will have the possibility to scale up, to create market impact, to create growth with the product and the project that you are carrying out. Eurostars wants to fund activities that bridge actually the gap between research and market. You have seen our technology readiness overview, so it sits right in the middle between research and market. You cannot get funded any activities that are directly marketing activities, but anything that is development and also research to a smaller time is a very good fit. One of the other key element of Eurostars, one of the main objectives is, like I earlier mentioned, is funding cross-border collaboration. So it's not just only about being innovative. It's not only about being deep tech, breakthrough technology. It's about collaborating between European and some non-European countries that are participating in this scheme. So you will have to lay out very well in your application how each of the partners is participating and how they are actually creating something bigger than just the pieces of their own work. Next slide, please. When we look at the focus of Eurostars funded projects, of course, as I said, Eurostars is technology open. So you can apply with any technology field, but it has been interesting to see the distribution of funds that has gone out to the projects that have applied. We have a bit of a focus here that is quite obvious on biotechnology and health, medical applications, where you sometimes might think, if I have an idea, if I have a technology, a project idea that goes into the medical sector, why should I apply for Eurostars if it only funds 500,000 euros per partner? If I need to do a viability check, let's say if I need to go into clinical trial with my product afterwards, there is an exception to the Eurostars rule of going to market in less than 2 years. If it is a medical application that needs clinical trial, you should be ready for entering clinical trial at least 2 years after you have finalized the Eurostars project. Then we have another key elements of Eurostars projects being funded in electronics, ICT, and telecommunications. This also includes the very much hyped topic of AI. And we have industrial manufacturing materials as a key element of funded projects. This has traditionally been a very strong focus of Eurostars. So we also have agriculture, environment and energy and services, but they play a little lesser role in this scheme. Thank you. Next slide, please. How do you actually apply for Eurostars? And what time should you calculate in doing so? This is quite straightforward. As I said, the main barrier for many of you that would be thinking and applying for Eurostars is actually finding a right partner and creating a strong consortium. And this is where you actually should start. When you have the project idea in your mind, draft it out and try to scope and try to build a consortium around your idea. You need to define a role for each of the partners that you want to invite or that you might already have joining you while you are scoping the project. Each partner needs to have a clearly defined role, and it needs to be very, very substantial to carry out the project to be a viable addition to the consortium. This process can take up to 3 months. And we often find clients that are struggling to find the right partners. Of course, we can help you with that. So that's something that you should keep in mind. The actual proposal development is, like I want to call it, part a creative and part an administrative task that you need to do. Of course, you need to lay out your project details. You need to create a good storyline of how you're actually going from where you're right now to where you want to go. You need to detail your organization, your experience with the technology and with working on innovation projects. You need to have a detailed work plan, and you can include a technical annex with graphics. And then there comes the boring but very much necessary part of the mandatory annexes. To provide information about the financial viability, you need to add the financial reports. You need to sign a commitment form, and if you're an SME, declare that you are an SME under EU rules. This whole process can take about 2 months if you do not want to rush it. And we would also like to have at least 2 months to prepare something like this when you have the consortium ready. The proposal submission is online. You register on the portal. upload all the application text and annexes, and then carry out a quality and completeness check before you submit. So that's how you apply. Next slide, please. And after that comes the period where you actually have to have a lot of patience. In many cases, you will be thinking, where do you actually stand? What are my chances to actually get the money? From the submission day, the communication of results comes in slices. So like I said, it's a one single step application and a multi-step evaluation. First, you will be checked against technical eligibilities, like are you in the country that actually participates in Eurostars, etc. Do you have the right status of a participant that can join? Are you an SME, for example? Are you a large company? And then you will get, within several days, actually a feedback that you're eligible, hopefully. So that's the pre-step. Then you have the first step where actually the contents of your application are being evaluated by remote experts. And this gives a very good insight in where you might end up when you get the results around 8 weeks after submission. They are technology experts, so they know what you're talking about, and they will give you feedback on all the aspects of your application. But the final decision is not in their hands. It is being done when, in the second step of evaluation, all the projects that have been handed in are being ranked and compared against each other in terms of excellence. So you will be, hopefully, among the 200 best proposals that have been handed in, and then you will get a seal that is recommended for funding. And in the end, it is like in many aspects of life, if you actually get funded, if you are being recommended for funding, depends on how much money is actually available in your country. So if the funding agency of your own country has enough money to fund all the projects from their country that have been awarded the seal of being considered for funding, depends on how much money they can spend. You can expect final results between 16 weeks after submission, and in the best of cases can start your project 24 weeks after the submission. Thank you. The next slide, please. Now, what is actually something that we can provide you? Why do you think it is so important to actually have some experience with knowing what the hidden rules and the hidden priorities of funding, of getting funded are? What is written in the program description is, of course, nice as a start. And now you also need to know what is the key elements of actually combining all your strengths and how to present them to actually get on the top. You can see it's a competitive program. Many people have very innovative ideas. And why would actually you be the chosen one to get the funding? First things first, of course, you will need to present a very innovative and new product or service. You need to make sure that you are actually entering somewhere where nobody has been before in this way, how you will be doing it. That's the key element. Then you will need to present a complementary partner consortium so that each of them plays a valid role and has actually not only a valid role in developing the product, but also benefiting from the exploitation of the product in a way that you can see we have. This is the third point, a strong business case for everyone who is participating. You need to have a clear route to market. You might think, okay, my project will end at technology readiness 6. Why do I need to bother this right now? Because I will need a lot of time afterwards actually to get to market. But you will need to display right there how you're going to do it and who is going to support you with that. And then when you get there, what is going to be the impact on the market already? You need to highlight that all partners have credible benefits, may it be financially or may it be otherwise, but they need to get a good return on investment, so to say, on participating in the project. You will need to show that you have project management experience as a lead partner. so that the funding agencies see that the money is in good hands and that you actually have shown and demonstrated that you can carry out projects and hopefully even collaborative projects, so that you will get extra points for this. What is always important is to show not only very exciting results that you would like to achieve, but also how this can be quantified, so that you actually can demonstrate how your market share, for example, is going to develop, how you're going to get there, and what are the key instruments, and how is the key numbers that are around this. When it comes to IP and exploitation strategy, my colleague Rajat has already highlighted this. This is one key for DeepTech, companies, but not only for them. You will need to show that you have the starting IP that you're actually using to create your new product, your new service, and also how you're going to protect the newly generated IP and how you're going to exploit them. In the case of Eurostars, also between the partners. Thank you. Next slide, please. And that was it from my side for a short and concise, hopefully, overview of Eurostars. And now I will give the presenter role back to my colleague Rajat, who will give you a little bit more insights to EIC Accelerator. I can see that there are some questions already popping up. Thank you for that. We will get to them in a second.
Thank you, Vasco. Thank you for an insightful presentation on Eurostars. And everyone, now we are going to move our focus to EIC Accelerator. EIC Accelerator is the flagship funding program of European Investment Council. Next slide, please. And in the next session, we are going to talk about objectives and focus of the program. What is the funding opportunity? Who are eligible applicants? Next deadlines in 2026, application process. We will talk also a little bit about tips for a successful application, the tips which we have gathered from our experience while working with several EIC Accelerator projects over the last decade. Not Accelerator, but it was actually Accelerator started in the form of SME instrument, and there were other programs before that, but EIC and European Commission actually has a long-standing history of supporting SMEs with substantial funding. And currently, this program is called as we all know, EIC Accelerator. Next slide, please. So this slide illustrates how the EIC Accelerator program supports deep tech ventures as they move from prototype validation to full market launch. And they typically cover TRL 6 to TRL 9. So while Eurostars, the program presented by my colleague Vasco, is a consortium-based project where minimum 2 SMEs from 2 different Eureka countries are needed to form a consortium and apply for the funding. EIC Accelerator is a single applicant program. You don't need to rely on anyone. You are free to rely on your own. The EIC Accelerator program targets deep tech companies with disruptive innovations and high market potential. Companies which are capable of becoming Europe's next technology champions. Here, the grant component of EIC Accelerator offers up to €2.5 million in funding, covering 70% of eligible cost. That means the maximum project budget can be €3.5 million, roughly in that tune, and you can get up to €2.5 million in grant from European Investment Council. And this grant is to help finalize technical maturation, validation, and demonstration activities. Remember, you must be at TRL 6. That means the TRL 5 activities are already completed when you apply for EIC Accelerator. EIC Accelerator grant component takes you from TRL 6 to TRL 8. And if you like to request the equity, that is up to €10 million, you can go from TRL 8 to TRL 9. And the equity component, they have changed it recently. Up till last year, it was minimum €500,000 in equity, but now they have increased a little bit. And now the minimum equity you can request is €1 million and the maximum is €10 million. Equity is typically used for scaling production, expanding your market entry, And there are 2 or 3 stages rather, and I will detail those stages of application in the next slide. But we have, it was yesterday when we received the full and final draft of EIC programs. And we have got to know that the deadlines in 2026, there will be 6 deadlines for stage 2. Stage 1, as always, there will be no deadline, just like the last year. Stage 1 will not have any deadline. You can submit whenever you want. But stage 2 has got now 6 deadlines. And let's talk more about these deadlines and the application process in the next slide. But before we move on, I just wanted to let you know that EIC grant is a lump sum grant, and the project can be you can run the project for 2 years, maximum 2 years. And as far as the equity is concerned, as I have already mentioned, that it is typically for deployment and scale up for reaching TRL 9. EIC prefers 1:1 co-funding by external investors. Think of it as a typical investment round where EIC will participate as an investor, but they would like to see at least 50% matching equity coming from your existing or your future investors. Next slide, please. So here we have tried to showcase what an ideal applicant profile looks like. Ideal applicant are DeepTech SMEs with strong IP, clear market impact, and scalable business models. Ideal applicant must have a balanced team, which is technical and commercial, and a plan to transform or create a new market. And strong commitment from management team is very important because the EIC Accelerator application is very demanding. It is seen that mature applicants often have a better funding chance. That means if you are at TRL, minimum requirement is that you should be at TRL 6, but if you are at TRL 7, a better funding chance. Ideally, you should have raised seed funding, and your technology must have a commercial and impact potential, as I already identified, transforming, creating, or disrupting markets. Next slide, please. Here we are showing the application process for EIC Accelerator. EIC Accelerator is a 3-stage process. In the first stage, 12-page full application based on EIC template, pitch deck, and a 3-minute video are submitted. 3-minute video is considered as video deck, a video pitch, as a video pitch where minimum 3 founders of the company come together and talk about their motivation and vision behind the company and why they would like to see the EIC Accelerator funding. If you get a go in the stage 1, you go and apply to the stage 2. The stage 2 application is based on the EIC template. It contains some annexes, for example, financial annexes, freedom to operate, data management plan, and pitch deck, and the 3-minute video that you submitted along with the stage 1 need also to be submitted. You have, of course, the liberty to modify the deck and the video at this stage if the things have been changed between the stage 1 and the stage 2. If you get a go in the stage 2, you go and pitch in front of a jury in Brussels. A 10-minute pitch followed by a 30-minute Q&A session. And if you get a go in the stage 3, now you are an EIC Accelerator awardee, and you go for the grant agreement process, followed by due diligence if you are seeking the equity investment. The process, all in all, takes approximately 4 to 5 months from the beginning. Once you have submitted the stage 2 and going up to the stage 3 and the result announcement, it takes around 6 months. And another 6 months can take in the grant agreement and the due diligence process. So it's a long process, and you must think of your plans when you apply for the EIC Accelerator, that the money won't be reflecting in your account through the grant at least 1 year after you have started the process of EIC Accelerator. Next slide, please. So, what is the hidden game behind the EIC Accelerator? Most applicants see the EIC Accelerator as a grant program, and we see it as a sophisticated capital formation instrument that can transform your fundraising trajectory. And what happens between TRL6 and Euro 10 million equity is not written in any guide. And what we are going to show you will reveal the strategic patterns and insider insights that separate successful applications from the rest. And before we move on to the next slide, let me also brief you about what's new in the EIC Accelerator for 2026. I would like to pause this presentation here and share slides from my end. Katrina, can you please allow me to do that?
While we are waiting for the screen to load, again, thank you for all the questions that you have had so far. I can answer the last one right away because it fits right into it. Can Nordic Innovators help with the video pitch? Yes, we can, and we do so on a very frequent basis. Thank you.
So can you all see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
Yes, thank you, Rajat.
Thank you. So we saw the application process for EIC Accelerator. Now I will show you some new changes which has happened in 2026. In 2025, EIC Accelerator application process was the same, but there are new changes such as more detailed due diligence at the application stage is now in place. It is to enable faster investment decisions. This early screening helps EIC make as I said, faster decisions, and later on ensures that the applicants are investor ready from day one. Second, we have 5 new challenge topics for 2026, which show a strong alignment with the EU's green and strategic autonomy goals. Number 1 is advanced materials for renewable energy and storage. Number 2, alternative concepts and key enabling technologies for fusion power. Number 3, biotech for regenerating agriculture soils. Number 5, boosting the European critical raw materials value chain. And last, DeepTech for climate adaptation. Third, the third big change is the budget. The total indicative budget for 2026 is 634 million euros, of which 414 will go to Accelerator open calls, and the 220 millions go to the challenge calls as identified here in the new challenge topics box. Next, the evaluation process is now a 2-step. I mean, at the full stage application, you will have your application will be assessed from 2 different angles. The first angle will be that a technology expert will conduct an in-depth review or application, and that can also include an online clarification meeting. That means if that technology expert is not clear about anything during the evaluation of your proposal, you will be invited for a meeting where this evaluator will ask the question so that he can assess your proposal from with a better clarity. And this first stage of technological expert evaluation happens before a panel ranks and scores the proposal. And finally, the interview schedule. Interview schedule has changed slightly. Previously, it was happening that after each stage 2 deadline, there was 1 interview schedule. But now interviews will now be organized after every second batch of full proposal cutoffs. I showed you earlier that there will be 6 deadlines of EIC Accelerator in 2026. That is, the first 2 deadlines are in January and March. That means the first interview will happen in April after the 2 batches of January and March are in. And this changed interview schedule will give evaluators more time for in-depth review and feedback. So in short, 2026 is all about speed, selectivity, and strategic focus. Because the EIC is moving toward a more investor-like evaluation approach that rewards both technical excellence and execution readiness. Now we will take a look at the real odds and patterns. So success rates vary dramatically in the case of EIC Accelerator. What matters is TRL maturity and execution credibility. A deep tech at TRL 6, where the risk is high, but the acceptance rates are also lower. But once you reach TRL 7 with strong IP, and this often is seen more in the case of life sciences companies. A life science company at TRL 7 has 3 times more higher success rates because as compared to TRL 6 applications, TRL 7 life science companies are driven by execution credibility and regulatory pathway clarity. And that's the reason we see 3 times more higher success rate in case of a life sciences company. Green tech is also seeing higher success thanks to EU policy alignment. And all these odds and patterns have been realized by us internally at Nordic Innovators over the last several years of working with EIC Accelerator companies. Next, I will show you how you can use EIC as a tool in leveraging towards equity fundraising and other benefits. The strategic value of EIC funding extends far beyond the capital itself. We have seen that startups receiving EIC funding achieve on an average 2.3 times higher pre-money valuation post-award compared to the pre-application stage. And this data comes from 2022 to 2023. We have also seen a 40% reduction in dilution because EIC Accelerator support strengthens your position in investor negotiations, leading to up to 40% less equity dilution before Series A rounds. We have also seen that the grant component alone typically provides an extra 6 months of operating runway if you are an EIC Accelerator body. And this extra runway gives founders time to raise on stronger terms. EIC's rigorous selection process acts as the third-party due diligence, signaling technology excellence and impact potential. Investors recognize it as a credible valuation or a validation stamp, accelerating their decision-making. You also get a lot more negotiating power because armed with the EIC Accelerator label and reduced capital need, you can push back on excessive dilution, restrictive liquidation preferences, or unfavorable board terms. EIC Accelerator improves deal quality and long-term control. So the key takeaway here is that the EIC Accelerator is not just funding, it's a leverage. It signals credibility. It de-risks your technology in investors' eyes and enhances your negotiating position. Founders who treat it as a strategic asset typically extract 3 to 5 times more value than those who view it merely as a grant. Now that brings me to the end of my core session about EIC Accelerator. Now I will hand over the floor to Vasco, who will walk you through what Nordic Innovators Group is. Over to you, Vasco.
Thank you, Rajat. So we have come nearly to the end of our presentation, and I will speed up a little so we can still get to the Q&A. So what do we do at Nordic Innovators? We provide you with full service project financing advisory. So this is not only Eurostars and EIC Accelerator. No, we are providing R&D and I project financing under one roof, right from the start of your idea, from scoping your idea, right up to the end where you might actually need some grant equity and debt financing on European or national levels. We have even a full business unit, Nordic Innovators Corporate Financing, that can help you find right investors after you have carried out your R&D project. Our vision is to build and become the leading European project financing advisory, and that's what we're trying to do. Thank you. Next slide, please. We have a comprehensive service offering, like I said, from idea to exit. You can ask us to support you in any stage of your journey, and we will be there to support you. I will not read all of this slide to you, but make sure that you can read through it when you get afterwards the full presentation sent to you. Thank you. Next slide, please. We have an industry coverage and reach that covers many areas of specialization. We have a strong standpoint in green energy, but also manufacturing, scale-up, digitalization, and AI. We are keen on supporting you on your security and defense projects. We are working with engineering technology, natural resources, fintech, health and life sciences, as well as transportation and infrastructure. This is a small map where you can see all the countries that we have worked with before, and it's not exclusive. We have worked with even more countries in the past. Next slide, please. If you actually have a project idea that needs funding, and we strongly assume yes, otherwise you wouldn't be here listening to us, then you can get directly in touch with our EU program experts. We can assess your project idea based on the information that you can share with us. What we do for you is funding fit assessment. We have an assessment process for your project where we actually check your idea and your needs against any of the EU programs that are up there. And it's personalized for you, tailor-made for the development of your unique project funding strategy. So you will get an answer where to lay your eggs in which basket and how we can support you with that to maximize your success rates. Next slide, please. And here we are with the small, but I hope sufficient time for Q&A. I will start to answer the questions that fall into my area of expertise, and then Vajad can support me, please. So what we have, there is some questions about Eurostars. So first one from Hari. Eurostars, is there any rules on how the company is structured in collaboration? And he gives an example. The company is headquartered in Copenhagen. Very good. Everything is happening in another country, so it's still considered for funding. Yes and no. So let me explain it to you in a way that it might be easier to understand from the funding body's point of view. They would like to fund activities that are being carried out by people who are paying taxes in the country where the funding agency sits. So if you are working from Denmark, then the rule is that any staff cost that you would like to apply for in your project must be aligned with people actually working in Denmark with the Danish social security number and so on and so forth. That's the main aspect here. I have another question for Eurostars from Eva. Can you please give an example of a type of partner to DeepTech startup when considering a two-partner consortium? Yes. So what type of partnerships are favored in the application process? So the general rule here is that you will need to have a consortium that covers all the aspects of the technology development and research. So you must make sure that you do not have any blank spots where expertise is needed but not present. And what is favorable if one of the partners is, for example, a deep tech startup with the very innovative technology, but a small team. What they would like to see that the other end of their objectives is also covered in this scenario, the development, production, scaling, and also market access part. So if you have a larger partner that has already products on the market, that maybe has production capacity, that has a good distribution network, they can play a very vital role in a two-partner consortium in this setup. Then I have a last question for Eurostars that I see from Amit. Question for Eurostars: do both collaboration partners to be within the EU? No, they don't have to be in the EU. Not all of them. So first, there can be more than two collaboration partners. This is not limited in numbers. They just need to have, each of them has to have a valid role. Eureka collaborates with, I would say, all of the European countries, plus some more that are outside of Europe. Norway is also part of it, but not the least. We have Canada, we have South Africa, we have South Korea. Turkey, with all which we have carried out successful projects. So it's not limited to that. The important part is that you need to be an SME to lead a Eurostars project. The rest is quite open. Yeah, so thank you for your attention, for hearing me about delving into Eurostars. I will give the last minutes to my colleague Rajat to answer the questions about the EIC Accelerator. And would thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Vasco. So question number one, which has been asked on the accelerator, is that do all activities in R&D, test and prototype for hardware or manufacturing space needs to happen within EU for funding to be granted? If we are testing in our client's facility in China and iterating with the client supplier to deliver to their factories in China. So first of all, that's a very important and nuanced question, and one that is often misunderstood. So what's the general rule here? EU funding is intended to support European research, innovation, and industrial competitiveness. And the idea is that most R&D, prototyping, and testing activities must be carried out in the EU or in associated countries, such as Norway, Switzerland, Iceland, Israel, etc. And the costs are only eligible if the beneficiary performs the activity itself or outsources it to an eligible partner within those countries. That means your main R&D, testing, and manufacturing work, particularly what is listed, what you are planned to do, should be done within the EU or associated countries. There are some exceptions where you can do some activities outside the EU, but then you must demonstrate with solid proofs that the activity cannot reasonably be carried out in Europe. Or you have to show that the work is essential for achieving project objectives while keeping the cost proportionate. But I'm afraid that it is very difficult to prove that the activities cannot be carried out in Europe unless there are some solidly justified case present in front of us. The next question is that can Nordic Innovators help with the video pitch? Yes, that's that we do. When we take the full support, when we take the full responsibility of an EIC Accelerator proposal, we develop pitch deck, we develop video, we go for the stage 1, we do stage 2, we also do pitch training. That is preparation for you to pitch in front of the jury. Third question is that what is the price for your support in the whole application process for Eurostars and EIC Accelerator? I can answer this one, but I think it's best if you get in touch with our business developers, Katrina here, and they will be happy to understand your case and help you with then overall pricing of the full proposal. Thank you very much. I cannot see any other questions, but if there are, we are here.
Thank you for the comment. We're happy that it was interesting for you. If you have any more questions, and we will send the recording and the presentation slides to all the participants. And hope to hear from you soon again. Please reach out if you have any questions. We are here to help you. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Vasco and Richard, for a brilliant presentation. And most of all, thank you all for joining us for today. And as mentioned, the presentation and recording of this webinar will be delivered to you into your inboxes by the beginning of the next week at the latest. So by this, I would like to end this insightful webinar and wish you all a really nice weekend when you get there.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.